in my explanation to him last night, like just because I disagree with you or don't agree with you, don't mean I don't understand what it is that you're talking about. I
Right.
just, again, let me go back and think about it a little bit. Or in this particular moment right here, I'm just straight up calling you freaking wacko.
Yeah.
But but either way, I feel, again, I think a little bit, or I think a lot of bit for
Yeah.
people who know me. And that right there brings me to imagination. Like I'm fascinated with that as well, because according to what science says, imagination is so strong that our brain will have us really believing that, physically and chemically changing us. Now, the thing about it is it real or not?
Right.
To actually just go say,
Mhm.
"Oh hell yeah, I believe that was right there for right now. I believe that." Well, that's a delusion, and that's what imagination is. That's the part of part of delusion is imagination. That's what the delusion is, an imagination. Yeah, I think imagination rules a lot of what we call a reality.
Sure. And some of that is healthy. I mean, if
Oh
you're
yeah, 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 yeah,
and
yeah.
if you're if you're suffering and going through an oppressed moment in time, in order to make it day by day, do you have to, think that you're someplace else or fantasize about being someplace else or,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
or fantasize about the day that you're free or get the hell out of that place? Sure. And it could be completely delusional to think that could ever else happen, but you have to do so in order just to continue to make it work, or else it is. I mean, I feel like I've been through situations very similar to that just by being poor in many instances, or else it is. I have
Mm-hmm.
There is absolutely no evidence whatsoever for me to believe that I'm ever going to get out of this shit or make it or get a place to live or whatever else it is. But I still had to get my ass up every single day to go and at least do something, try to hit a lick, fake it, fake it till you make it, or something shit like that. Just
Because of what?
probably because I myself personally, it's because I didn't know myself and I didn't know what I was capable of, and I knew that the second that I got my shit together, I was gonna be a problem, and I knew myself enough to know that okay, I've been through some shit before. I can put up with some through some shit again. Now, if I but you know, and if I make it to the other side, I'm gonna make the most of this shit, and I'm gonna be a serious fucking problem when I get there. And again, there was nothing in my living condition situation to, back
Okay.
that up. I'm saying? There was no evidence of that shit at all. I'm saying? There ain't no evidence, but I had to do it. But I had to believe it anyway. I had to,
Ooh,
I
ooh.
had
Well,
to,
you had to believe in yourself
yeah,
or something else.
I had to believe in myself.
Oh, okay, okay.
And
All
and
right.
and that the work that I was doing was going to pay off, or that I'd make it to the end. Despite any and all obstacles where else there was. And again, no evidence that I was going to make it through this shit, but I still had to do it anyway, just because I knew what I was capable of faith and belief in self, and that's why you started the conversation off by saying most people know themselves. Yeah, so at various degrees and levels, some of us know ourselves better than others because we
Dang it, this tech issue on this particular recording here. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I agree with that. I was thinking more so of we do it because of death. We don't want to not be alive. Like, that's what I was thinking when I asked that question of why. Like, I think we fear death, even have this concept of,
Mhm.
and we do experience witnessing people not coming back, but more so that than any other fear. Like all the other fears are there, and more. I feel like they're justified to be there as well.
There's just some certain amount of ultimate finality that people think of when it comes to death. Because, like you said, you ain't never seen nobody come back, right? So when you think of final death, there's no do overs. There's no chances to make anything right.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
Mm-hmm.
coming back process from that. I mean, you can be poor 1 minute, and sure, you could probably be rich the next. You could be overweight
Mm-hmm.
1 minute, and you could be, work your way to being thin. You could be thin, and you can work your body out until you get big and strong and buff and get heavier. Also, it is. You can be dumb, and you could probably work your way to being smart. You can probably be smart, and you could probably dumb yourself down. Most of this. So there's ways of going. You can be unemployed and get a job, but once there's death, the finality of it, that's the one
Yeah.
thing that you can't fix or come back from. When that ship has sailed, it has sailed for good. And that's, like you're saying, is probably the only example for which we have in our human existence.
Yeah, but so what exactly is a flat line then? Because people have been brummed back from what we call flatlining. But I also thought about like so much of survival revolves around death.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about like why does death determine survival, or why do death has to be around in order for your survival?
You have to you have to because you have to know what threatens your survival in order to prepare and sustain your own survival. Like you have to know that those conditions or that animal or that fruit or that berry else and the round is poisonous to else to eat for you in order for you to understand the sanctity and the safety of life and the importance of it. Because without it, you would be unaware. There's no because, like you said, it's because death is final. So there's no way to get that understanding about how important it is to People always say live each moment and leave each day and all the other kind of and all those kind of things, those kind of sayings. I'm not sure if you're a fan of those
Mm-hmm.
sayings or not, but those are another one because without knowing that it could end and there's no more chances, you wouldn't know what to do with that one chance.
Well, yeah, 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 yep.
When you go you're a bowling fan. I mean, you go to bowling, or else it is you get to that 10th frame. Like this is it. Like I don't give a shit what you've done prior or whatever you've done beforehand, but this is it. Okay, I want to let you. I want you to know, or else it is. Now you can after the game of match is over, you can go back and think about that open frame in the fifth or that one shot that should have been a strike in the other one. And that's all fine and dandy. But when you get to that 10th frame, that shit don't matter. It is what it is at that point. And now you know how important that fifth frame was that you should have, concentrated on, or that strike you missed. And now you have a better understanding of what happened beforehand because you know that game is about to end.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it's a little bit. I think there's a element to something of that sort. What you bowling or a game or yeah, a game. Like again, I totally get what you're saying, but I think the element of it actually not being death is going to happen here. That nullify the feeling of what we're saying, well, what I'm trying to convey, what I'm conveying. Like in order for you to eat, you have to kill. If we don't eat, we die. And no matter and in order for us to eat, something must die, whether you're a vegetarian or not. Something must die. And I'm just was like, man, why does that have to be? Like, why can't we all be what we say harmony is? Unity is. Like, why does that have to be a thing? I know we'll probably never get to an answer with us just conversing it right now, unless we both die and came back and had a conversation about it.
Well, no, I mean, but just using your example of
Yeah.
food is we don't have to
No,
actually.
no.
Why can't things be the way that they are? Why does it always have to be something?
Yeah, my wife was. Say it
Why
again.
can't it be what it is? Why does it always have to be something more? Like, why does it have to be made like more than what it is? Why can't it just be that's the way it is?
Yeah, yeah. Well, are you
Like with everything, like everything doesn't have to be deciphered. Like why do we have to kill to eat? Why do we have to
Are you asking
believe
me?
the
Are you
things?
saying like? Are you asking me to pretend of why?
Yeah, because you was like, why do we have to kill? But you say why all the time. Like some stuff, like
What?
everything you say, like when you question everything, but
Yeah.
everything doesn't always have to be another alternative to or another reason why or extra. It could just why can't it just be what it is?
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. But I feel what you're saying is the fact that it is
That's
something else to it.
but what if it's not? That's what I'm saying.
But you won't know unless you ask why.
Oh,
You
yeah,
have to
of
do
course.
the experiment of why in
Like,
order to get to hey, this doesn't even need anything to just be.
it can't be because I don't know why it is.
Yeah.
That's what people think of. Like, oh, that can't be that because you can't tell me why. Or
Oh, but no,
this
no,
is not
no.
that. So
That's
why?
just
Like
retarded.
that's
Yeah,
what
that's just
people do.
retardation.
Like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, well, if you can't tell me why, then why? It can't be true then, or it's not
As
real.
as
Why
that,
do you
did you
believe
hear
it?
any
You
of
can't
that?
tell me why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it just is what it is. Not a why to it.
Exactly. It is what some things are is what it is, but at the
Yeah.
same time, in order for us to recognize
You must
the
ask.
is of why it is, then you have to ask why, because that's how you get a better understanding of why it is what it is. And unless we do the experiment of why this is what it is, and it turns out to be is what it is, we will probably never know. We will always probably wonder why it is what it is versus knowing it is what it is.
Sounds
Do
like
you
you've
get
got,
what I'm trying to say?
I mean, it sounds like you've already got the answer, Rose, to this, right? Because you started out by saying like things have to die for us to eat and things have to die for us to live. There's your answer about why things die. That is the answer. Like
Hmm.
because they have to. Like you, even if you fight for other things to live and for other things to survive. And that is just how life works. That is the why. That is the answer. Things die so that other things can live. And that's just how the circle of life works. Nothing, like you said, nothing would survive without it. Nothing would survive if some things did not die. And that's just how life, not human life, but life as a
As
breathing
a thing,
organism of
as a
all matter
thing. Yeah,
survive.
life as a thing. Well, let's say religion is real,
Okay.
and for the fact that that is what it is, God is white.
Not at all. I mean, if you read the Bible, if you read the Bible and you watch, if you read the Bible and you study science, most it is right. The first humans or Homo sapiens, or what we would call human beings, right, originated in Central Africa, the darkest parts, the blackest parts of Africa, right. That's the first human being. So
Oh no, no, no. Oh,
Adam and Eve are
I
black.
was just going off the evil. I was just going off the evil nature of how I think that kind of is. But I get it because that's what we grew up to know. Life is what it is to be. But I understand. I get that portion of why it is what it is, and I accept that. For that's I think that's the biggest issue, or with a lot of people acceptance, and I accept that because we're kind of forced to accept it until otherwise.
What do you mean forced to accept it until otherwise?
Well, we're forced to accept it because neither one of us has unlocked the power of immortality. As far as I know, nobody has unlocked the power of immortality. No one has unlocked the power of not eating to sustain life. No one has
Right.
unlocked the power to not make this is what it is. As far as I know, no one has unlocked the Christ, if you want to call it.
Right? But we're not supposed to, right? But we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to live forever. At least not in this. At least if we're adopting the premise that religion is real, then we're still not
Yeah,
supposed to
if
live.
you're going off that,
Then we're
if you're
not
going
supposed
off
to live
that,
forever. We're supposed to live in these holy bodies for a specified period of time to love and rejoice for the Lord, or else it is. And then when He's seen enough or seems it fit, He calls us back to whatever the hell it is that we're going, whether it be heaven or hell. So we're not necessarily supposed to, yeah. So we're not necessarily supposed to just live forever. Um,
Well, I thought we were until